TikTok may be on the verge of getting banned. And if you're like most people right now, you're probably in a frenzy because you probably didn't take some of the rumors or what was speculating in the news outlets really seriously. Are you scratching your head right now, frustrated, not knowing exactly what to do? In this video, I'm going to break down some key fundamentals on exactly what you should do when you approach these social media platforms. Because you see, it's not just about you hopping on the next best thing or the next platform that is on the rise, but you actually need a simple game plan. And the reason why I say that is because you see, I'm someone who's been a victim of losing social media accounts, but I actually show up every single time and I'm intentional when I show up because we got to face the harsh reality. You nor I don't own any of these social media platforms and they could go bye-bye anytime. That is why you have to utilize these social media platforms for what they are. And these are tools. You have to use them to build a community, and that tribe or that community that you build, you then get the opportunity to take those people off of these platforms and build what is called an email list. Now, you see, TikTok may be going somewhere, but guess what? Digital marketing is not going anywhere. So my advice to you, if this does go away, then it means then that you have to approach social media in a different way. The first thing that I want you to do right now is I want you to process everything, all right? Feel all the feels, you understand? Be okay with the emotions. The harsh reality is whatever is going on with the TikTok operations and the United States, it trickles down to everybody, regardless of what the news outlets say, regardless of, whatever they're trying to put in front of you in terms of the media. It affects everybody. You want to know why? There is a whole lot of people that I know who I'm connected to. TikTok is pretty much their livelihood, right? But there's some of us, because we've been around in the online space and we've been burned, we learn how to, work smarter versus harder, utilize these tools to help us to not just generate income and build other streams, but to also allow us to focus on the bigger picture. Just in case no one is saying it to you, let me be the one to tell you that it is okay for you to feel some sort of emotion with everything that is going on. If you have to look at the landscape right now on these social media platforms, it's in a frenzy, right? But there is opportunity. Did you hear me? There is opportunity. There's an opportunity for you to show up and become a better creator if that is your ultimate goal. There's an opportunity for you to show up and give more. There's an opportunity for you to show up and serve more so that you could become more at the end of the day. So in the midst of everything that is going on, I want you to pivot and I want you to kind of say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to process whatever it is that I'm feeling, but I need to approach social media with a new perspective or a new game plan. What do I mean? If you're going to go and show up on social media because there is so much noise that is happening around me right now, like communities that I'm a part of, like I'm in a mentorship community. And when I tell you that has been going off crazy because so many people ignored what they should have been doing from the jump, from day one, right? And that is to be able to build yourself a nice community. And you take that community off of these social media platforms, ensure that you are connected with them, right? I mentioned earlier that digital marketing is not going anywhere, and it is a stone cold truth. If it's not TikTok, guess what? It's another platform. Right now, whether you want to believe it or not, someone else is coming up with some platform, something that is going to come on the rise, and you're going to see that, hey, at some point, there's going to be a next wind of momentum that is happening on another platform. So here's exactly what I want you to do. I want you to pivot. What does pivoting looks like? Pivoting looks like you now are going to approach this differently. How do you pivot? You're going to show up and you're going to be more intentional about showing up. Whether it is that you plan to show up 3 times a week, whether it is that you plan to show up 3 times a month and put out content on these social media platforms, you are going to be intentional, all right? That is the first thing. The next thing that you are going to do is you are going to understand that you see none of these platforms have meaning without you. So with that being said, I want you to understand that you yourself, you are the platform. I'm going to share this with you just like how I shared it with some of my clients that I was coaching over the last few hours while I was helping them in terms of their mindset, right? Understand this. Every single one of us, there is some gifts that were deposited on the inside of us, right? So I took them through this framework where I kind of helped them to identify their it, all right? Push the platforms to the side for a minute, right? What is your it? What is that gift? What is that thing that lights you up? What is that thing that you are passionate about, right? And I'm going to bring it back full circle so you understand how it makes sense. So guess what you have to do? You have to find your it. You know, like how the Bible says your gift will make room for you and bring you before a great man. It is the same thing, right? You have to find that it. When you find that it, you could go layers deep and try to uncover, okay, why is this your it? At the end of the day, what is it about this that makes this your it, right? And here is why you want to do that. Because you're approaching social media differently now and you're being intentional, you want to ensure that you are operating from a place of genuineness, authenticity. You understand? Here is what is going to happen. When you find your it becomes easier for you to fund your it, right? Because you're going to be speaking 9 times out of 10, a younger version of yourself, somewhere in your life that you elevated from. So it's like what you are putting out, you're now teaching backwards, so to speak. So guess what happens? You now start to put out your content or create from a place of true authenticity. You're speaking to the younger version of yourself, but that message is resonating with so many people because see, you have elevated from that. But guess what? There's a whole bunch of people who are still in that position that you elevated from. So who is better or who is best to serve them than you? Someone who has experienced it firsthand and you have elevated from that, right? The first thing you got to do is find that it. The next thing that you do is you fund that it. That's how you are able now to get persons to be able to put money in your bank account or put money in your pocket, right? The last thing that I brought them through on that coaching call, I said, guess what? After you find your it, you fund your it, guess what has to happen? The automation has to happen. So it's find your it, fund your it, and automate your it. How do you automate your it? You see, before a system even comes into place, you already are the automation. Now, what do I mean by that? You are putting out the content. You are speaking directly to a younger version of yourself, whether the content is written, whether it's in video, whether you decide to say, you know what, I'm going to connect with this person and do a brand collaboration. I'm going to go into this community and offer some free teaching on something I may have elevated from. Guess what you're doing? You're dropping little pockets or little pieces of content or what you have been through, and what you're doing is you're trying to solve somebody's problem, but the person problem that you're solving is a younger version of yourself. So when you have to show up, it's just going to flow like a stream. So you find then that guess what, because you yourself are the platform, and I want you to understand that you yourself are already the platform, right? When you now have to tie into or lock yourself into coming on YouTube, going on TikTok, going on Instagram and whatnot, because you're already the platform, you put meaning to these apps, right? And then what's going to happen? People are going to naturally want to associate with you, and that trickles down to money going into your bank account, right? It makes it easier for you to automate your it because you're already automated. So now you could hook yourself into a system, or you could connect with a blueprint, a framework, something that now makes it seamless for a whole lot of traffic and a lot of movement to happen. So you now won't necessarily have to work so hard, but you could work smarter. It's not the end all be all when it comes to being in the online space. And that is why I absolutely love the business in a box opportunity that you would normally hear me share with you from time to time. One, not only does it give you the opportunity where you learn the skills on how to properly position yourself in the online space, on how to properly, build yourself an email list and all that stuff that you should be doing anyway, but it also gives you a framework where you now could position yourself as the CEO, where you lead with yourself as the brand first and foremost. You get a system that is attached to that. And that system, what it does, it helps you to generate the leads. It helps you to take them to a journey where they get to know you, like you, and trust you, right? It also covers the transaction, meaning it handles the sale for you. But what it also does, it also gathers everybody together where it builds what is called an email list for you, right? And if any one of you don't understand the power of having an email list, this is exactly what could happen. Where we are right now, we are at a very sensitive and fragile place with these social media platforms. They could go bye-bye any single day. But how many of you can say, you know what? If social media goes bye-bye today, I have a group of people on my email list that I could connect with or I could communicate with, right? Because guess what? I'm adding value, but am I allowing or inviting people to take the next step? Right? I'll leave a link in the description for you if it is that you want to go ahead and not just check out the business in a box opportunity, but I want you to see how this works like step by step seamlessly. Because you see, when you go ahead and you click that link, guess what? The first thing that is happening, right? I am giving you the opportunity to not just enter your name, but also enter your email. Once you enter your name and your email, we are connected for life as long as you want to be connected with me. After you do that, the next step, you check out the business in a box opportunity. If it's something for you, hooray. If it's not for you, still hooray. But at the end of the day, I know that I will be doing myself a disservice if I don't show up and be my true authentic self. If I don't extend the invitation for you to take the next step. And if I don't let you know that, hey, if you're going to be utilizing these social media platforms, you want to position yourself properly. If it is that you need to have me look at your system, come up with some sort of framework, game plan for you to help you, to position yourself properly, whether I got to get a system built out for you or, just to help you kind of navigate the social media platforms smarter versus harder, then guess what? You could always reach out to me. There'll be a link in the description, even if it is that you want to jump on a coaching call or whatever. But guess what? We cannot continue to operate the same way how we've been operating, expecting that we're going to get different results. If TikTok goes away right now, what's going to happen? If YouTube goes away, what's going to happen? If Facebook, if Instagram, if these social media platforms go away right now, what's going to happen? You have to understand, my friend, that you are the platform. And the day you understand or come to the realization of that, you'll start showing up differently. Go ahead and check out the link in the description below, and I'll see you on the next video.